Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay is pretty excellent. Definitely one of the best exorcism stories out there, as in it's so realistic whenever it comes to what an exorcism would be like modern day. So as you guys know, with my rating system, it is I assign a star to each category that I find good or bad or whatever, and those are dealing with plot, that's dealing with emotion, that's dealing with importance, and that's also dealing with character. The last 2 stars go to character because that is the most important, and there's a lot of factors that go into that. Normally I reserve 1 for the main, and then the other star for the rest of the characters. So this one got 4 out of 5 stars for me. Very well deserved 4 out of 5. This one was so intense. So we're going to start off with the first star that I got, of course, which is plot, which is an amazing plot, actually. So this book starts out with an interviewer asking a woman questions about her childhood. Her older sister was one of the most popular cases of possession, and they are trying to get a tell-all story to kind of go back to say what really happened. What did happen, according to everybody else in the world, is that this teenage girl was possessed. So, of course, being the modern day, they make a reality show from it, of course. And the exorcism is filmed, and there's even like reenactments of things that have happened or things that have been said to have happened. And this is basically the younger sister of the possessed girl in question going through and saying what really happened or what was true, what was not, which is an excellent premise. I love horror books that take things to a realistic level, as in if a possession were to happen today, of course there would be a reality show, which I kind of really want to advocate for a comedy dealing with a possession in a reality show situation, because that would be hysterical. Like have an episode of, or what's one of those trashy reality shows like the Big Brother or whatever, but one of the people is just possessed and everyone else is all like, oh, Gorgok the Destroyer, did you vomit on my stuff again? And you have Gorgok to the side going like, rah, rah, rah. And it's like, oh, Gorgok, and it's just, I don't know, that's funny, but no, this wasn't funny. Okay, sorry, I got off track there. So, plot, excellent, got a star from me, especially the way it ended left me breathless. There is a lot of questioning whether or not the possession is actually real, so you get to go into that. You're like, is she possessed? Does she have schizophrenia? Is there something else going on? And it all leads to an absolutely twisted and wonderful climax. Next star goes to emotion, which it did lead me with a lot of emotion. I was completely shocked at the twist. I was completely rooting for the main character. The child was developed so well, and it was amazing following a younger person's point of view on such a terrifying situation. That left me really advocating for all of the characters. It really left me excited to see what happened next. It did get very uncomfortable. It didn't scare me really. Possession stories rarely ever do, but it still had its moments of being incredibly uncomfortable. The next star goes to importance. I think it is an excellent premise to a modern horror classic. I think it opens up a lot, adding mental illness to the fact of that instead of just making it plain horror. It did had a lot to say about that. It had a lot to say about family, had a lot to say about family, and honestly about television today and how much it can go to exploit things and what people will do for money. It's kind of trashy considering the parents let their daughter be televised possessed. It's just new lows right there, I think. The last star it got, and I kind of took off one for, was character. Characters were very well written. I'm starting off with that. The lead was excellent to follow. As I said, it's all told from the point of view of a little girl who is seeing all of these crazy weird things that are very psychologically damaging. So there was a lot of discussion on that. There was a lot of discussion on how she dealt with everything, and having other people stay in her house filming, and just all of the things that a kid would go through with that. The other characters were also very good. The family was written well. It was believable. The sister, the possessed sister, was written very well in an incredibly disturbing way. She is very manipulative and possessive and possessed, but That was incredibly uncomfortable. Now, the star I took off for this was that the story switched to a blog written by someone who, I guess it's a kind of a twist who the person writing the blog is, so I won't say that. And it's like kind of a horror, it's a blog going over horror elements, and of course in here it's describing the documentary and all of that, and it's just so out of place, I think, in this story, because the person is cringingly trying to be funny and quirky while writing about horrific events and horrific things, and it really rubbed me the wrong way, especially once you found out what character was writing it. It didn't match anything set up in this character's like thing at all, and it was enough cringe for me to take off a star. I think this book would be perfect if that part was taken off. It really wasn't necessary, I don't think. But with that, it's still an excellent story, guys. I 100% recommend it. It's full of a lot of scares, a lot of shocks, a lot of uncomfortable times, a lot of really uncomfortable things, with an ending that'll just, even if you don't like horror, it's good for character study. It's good for just a psychological tale. Sometimes you can even argue that it's not horror at all. So I think this one is good for anyone, unless they don't like really gory things. This one's pretty gross. So guys, check it out. Hope to see you again soon in the next video. Later, taters.